Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
We're all kerfluffled right now. At least I am.
I feel
Things
like
look
I always
very
am these days.
yeah. Things look very different from my vantage point this go around, and I'm a little bit out of sorts.
Yes. Yeah. So behind the scenes, this week I learned that you can add people to your team on Restream, which is the platform or the program we use for streaming. And so
Yeah.
I was able to add Lindsay as a co-host or an admin or something. And so now
I'm on the team.
she has power now. She can highlight comments. She can mess everything up. With great power comes great responsibility, Lindsay.
Thanks, Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And so Lindsay's video is jumpy to me today, but I can hear her just fine. So hopefully everything will be good. I don't know what everyone else is seeing, but there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I get to be too awful, maybe I'll just take a step out and see if I can't refresh and come back.
Yeah. As long as we can hear you. Yeah. The other day on the Two Crazy Ketos live stream, every time they highlighted a comment, they would freeze and the comment wouldn't come up. So there was some weird thing going on with their stream. I don't know.
Huh. And I think they use Restream as well.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
interesting. Well, this is a whole new world for all of us.
Yes.
Hey, so I had a question for everybody today, and I got to thinking about this because we were driving to one of my kids' activities, and there was a construction zone dealing with like tree limbs and all that stuff, which meant there were flaggers, and they had like a slow or a stop. And I wanted to know, are you the person who will wave to people on the road or not?
Interesting. Well, for me, I feel like it depends on the mood. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I just
I
won't.
I am a 99% will wave person.
Okay. Yeah.
Even if I'm not the driver, I'm gonna wave.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But I feel
Yeah,
like
I
it's
think
kind of like that southern thing where, like you just wave to people because you
yes,
wave.
it definitely is a Southern thing, which I'm my mom's from Georgia and my dad's from Oregon. So like I'm that's probably why it depends on the mood because I'm like half and half. That's my internal struggle all the time, the friendly Southerner and like the introvert Oregonian.
That feels right. That feels right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll even do it to like in the neighborhood, just like driving to and from every walker. I'm like, every driver. I'm like, I don't even care if you're a delivery driver for the Amazon. Like, I'm gonna wave. I'm
That's
gonna wave. It's
awesome.
an unfamiliar vehicle. I'm gonna wave. I
Yeah.
see you. It kind of does two things. Number one, it's like a greeting, like, hey there, how are you? But
Mhm.
then it's also like, I see you. So don't do
Yeah.
anything bad.
Oh, yeah. Watch
Do
yourself.
not go the wrong way around the roundabout. I'm watching.
Yeah. Okay, so Sigget is waving. Does that mean she's answering your question that she's a waiver? I
I'm
I don't
gonna
know.
interpret it that way, but also I'm gonna respect it if it was just a hello.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
does that
you
mean she's waving to us? I don't
yeah.
know.
Um, Dustin says, "If I'm in a good, fun mood, I'll wave, though I'll nod my head." Yeah. Yeah. Barbara says, "Totally wave."
Absolutely. Well, and I mean,
Yeah.
like you got your hand up on the steering wheel anyway. It's just a little just a little,
Yeah.
that's all it takes. Just a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
fingers just up, and then you drop it down, and you're just like, okay,
Yeah,
I
so I
connected
feel
with
like
people.
yeah, I feel like in Oregon, there are people that don't want you to wave at them. That's
Oh, those are the ones that I want to wave at more.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a different community.
Feeling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, Lori says I'm going to my first keto meetup this Saturday in Hillard, Ohio. Is anyone else coming to this one? Anybody else going to be in
So
Hillard, Ohio this Saturday?
this is the one that Dawn over at Dawn Does Keto is kind of heading up for the keto. It's like
Ohio.
Keto. I don't know how you say that. I struggle with that so
Very
much.
cute.
That was the thing. Yeah. I did not know whether or not we would be able to make it. So I never actually responded. I was like, the likelihood of me being able to go to that thing is probably about 12%, and it's just continuously just being reduced every step of the way. So
Right.
I will not be going to the old bag of nails in order to enjoy the camaraderie, which I do have a touch of the sadness about that. But maybe next year. I think, is this the second year that the Keto Ohio is happening, or is this year number 3? I feel like this is year number 2, perhaps. I could be wrong. Wait a minute. Me having access behind the scenes, does that shift what my gestures do?
Oh, I do not know.
Have I lost it?
Oh dear. Wait, maybe I have it.
There.
Oh no, you still have it.
You don't have it. I still got it. It's on me. It's on me.
Oh dear. You have more power than I do.
I have the power.
Okay.
Is it gonna laser beam me? Laser beam snow?
I don't
Maybe I
know.
gotta do 2.
Your connection is funky.
There it is.
Yeah, there it goes.
I got the 2.
Sandra says, I absolutely wave at those folks standing out in all the elements to acknowledge the thanks for what they do. Yep.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And I also just want people to know that I see them, like, especially like the people walking on the road. I'm like, I see you. I'm not going to smash you. I got you.
Right. All right. And then Bonita says, me too. I'm from North Carolina. So I'm not sure if the Me Too is about waving or about going to the meetup. But yeah.
I'm going to assume that it was about the waving, since North Carolina is kind of a haul to get all the way up to the Columbus area.
You could totally do it. Dustin says he'll be at the meetup. That is very exciting.
Oh, fun!
I hope some people take video and share, a vlog or something. That would be really fun.
Yeah, I'm imagining that. Yeah, I'm imagining that Ready Set Keto will probably go.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if they'll take footage or not, but Bonita said yes to the waving. That's what she said it too.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes to the waves.
Look at that. You highlighted a comment.
I did it. We're going to have to work on coordinating our conversations a little bit more now, as I lost my flop.
Oh dear.
That way we're not like both like click, 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 click. Battle of the showing of them.
Hayden says if you wave
Phoenix,
you might get shot at.
I never got messed with. We used to live in Arizona, and I'd have to go down to Scottsdale frequently, and I never got messed with, and I'd still be all like,
yeah. Well, you're too cute, Lindsay. No one would do a thing to you.
Well, and it's kind of one of those things where the ones that are like crazy, they're the ones doing stuff like that, so you really don't want to mess with them.
Lori says that she would have loved to meet you, but maybe another.
I would have too. Yeah, it's funny because like I love this keto community space because it's camaraderie, right? Like we're all seeking to do better by our health so that we can live better lives with our people, and to me that's like the fun part about this whole space. But part of that is like living well so that you can be more involved with your actual day-to-day people, and oftentimes my day-to-day people consume the vast majority of my life.
Yeah, no kidding. So
they do take priority.
Consuming our lives. Yesterday was Talia's birthday.
I know, she's 13. She did it.
13.
Yay!
So now I have a married child and then another teenager.
It's weird.
It is pretty weird. Although I keep saying, I felt like Talia has been a teenager for quite a while already. So I'm like, yeah, same.
Yeah. At least the number reflects her attitude.
There you go. Yeah, now they match. No, well, and if anyone hears anything, the birthday sleepover is still going on, so there might be some loudness.
Shenanigans happening.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I
made
like
sure
it.
that they were finished cooking breakfast before I started, all that.
That's great. Yeah.
Turn off the stove before I lock myself in the bedroom.
Oh, I know it, right? We have finally gotten to the age where we're willing, okay, with your first, you're always a little bit more cautious with like the breadth of freedom you permit. Right. And so we've been practicing letting our claws out from our children's shoulders and holding them so tightly and saying, okay, we'll leave you home and we'll go and we'll do this errand and then we'll come right back, kind of a thing. And before we go, every time I look at the girls and I'm like, what are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? What in the kitchen are you allowed to touch when mom is not here? Where are the fire extinguishers? Should you need a fire extinguisher? No, you should not, because you're not using fire.
Yep. It's important to go over these things. You can't just say it once.
You really can't.
Every single time.
Yeah, with flying, you have a checklist, like a run-up checklist, you've got a takeoff checklist, a landing checklist, a cruise checklist, like all the checklists. And even though if you're a seasoned pilot, you still have to do the checklist every time. Because if you do it every time, when something is out of place, you're like, wait a minute, what? Something's weird here, something isn't right. But with the children, it's just so that they know, like, hey, this is still the standard of operation here.
You didn't tell me this time.
You're right. I didn't. That's on me. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I love Keto Zona, Arizona Keto Meetup. I was thinking in Oregon, we've got an O, so we could be Keto Oregon. Does it quite roll off the tongue?
Or you're gonna go keto. Or you're gonna go keto.
Yes.
It's like Arkansas. You're gonna go keto. No, we got to stop it. No, it's too much.
Yeah,
we're all done messing around with that.
Get Oregon keto events.
I know. Someday. It would be fun to do a keto and carnivore meetup across the road from like a vegan meetup.
Oh yeah, like
do they call them meetups or do they call them grass gatherings?
Probably.
They
have full on like conventions and stuff.
Well, I mean, there's a spot for everybody.
Yeah. Do you remember the guy that went viral a while back? That would like eat squirrels at keto or at vegan conferences. He would like go eat live squirrels and stuff just to troll them.
Live squirrels?
I might be getting the details wrong. I just remember him like trolling the vegan so hard. It was horrible.
If it was like roadkill and he's just like, well, I'm just here for cleanup crew.
It was pretpretty hilarious. I don't know whatever happened to him. He probably got kicked off of YouTube and is in jail somewhere.
So that is a cautionary tale, children.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Is it really the way to like create change in the world? Did that change anybody's mind? No.
Well, and that's like the whole like Thomas Edison quote of like learning, learning however many ways to not make the light bulb versus the way to make. Yeah. There's only one.
Now we know.
Now
if
we
had
know.
Done it, wouldn't have known.
One could have reasonably deduced that it wouldn't have gone well, but there's
a lot of people that don't have the ability to reasonably deduce.
Yeah.
have to learn by experience.
That's right. That's right. So Lori, she tells us that she's in agreement with the exciting community feels because you get to hang out together with all the like-mindedness. I like it. I like it a lot.
I've been thinking about our KetoCon trip because that really was my first, meetup.
Same.
And it was so fun. It was so fun.
It was a really awesome experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember that first night at the Bears Airbnb and I knock on the door and Rachel opens the door and it's just that was the most glorious moment.
It was the Bears Airbnb, but Rachel was the only one doling out the bear hugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's good at that.
Apparently so. She takes all that energy and just wraps it up into you.
Yeah. It's amazing. Anyways, that was such a fun night. That was such a fun
trip.
And
that's how we got to actually meet each other in person for the first time face to face. We've just been doing the internet thing for years, which is great.
Yes.
But then it's you really are real.
Yes. And we really are friends in real life.
We really are.
If I ever met you in real life, would we really hit it off? And then you're like, yep.
Well, it helps that I really, I really like me, and you and I are very similar on a lot of things. Therefore, I really like you.
Oh. But then we're different enough. We're different enough to keep a lot of things too.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It makes it interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's good. And then our husbands are similar enough and different enough to also make that relationship a thing. So it just works.
It all works. Now the kids just have to meet.
That's right. And I'm still trying to figure out what the scheduling will look like. So far, so speaking of meeting, we are going to be over at the Keto Chow meetup in the Utah. I love Utah. It's such a gorgeous state. And we're going to be hanging out there. Supposedly we have interesting things to share with people. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
We don't know what those things are yet.
Hear it.
Listen, we're all about that transparent lifestyle where you're what you see is actually what you get. So we've there's not a whole lot of mystical cloaks and look over here while I do something over here happening for us because we don't have time for that, and we're also not cool enough for that. So
I'm too tired
way too tired. Way too tired for doing that. But we'll be there, and so y'all should come out and meet us.
Yes.
And I'm trying
May 17th. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. And I'm trying to work it out. So Jared's department with the flying and things are kind of uncertain. It's always that way in the aviation industry. You just never know if you're going, are you staying, are you able to take off? Are you able to, do things? But my heart had a really strong desire that we would actually go out there and do some of Monument Valley, possibly head down to the Grand Canyon and let the girls see it, because Caitlin is the only one that's ever even been around where the Grand Canyon is. And so it's we could really make a family field trip out of this thing, and it could be really fun. And I love the western half of the states anyway. The Rockies are 10 out of 10 my favorite. Monument Valley is amazing. So that's in my heart of hearts what I hope for, but also we still have to have food at the table and somehow to pay for the roof over the heads. So
fast.
It's just little details we're working out.
Yeah. Well, we are really hoping that you guys will all come, because we're all going to come and we're going to do the whole road trip thing. We're going to try to go to the Grand Canyon. It's going to be epic.
Oh my gosh. How fun would it be to go to the Grand Canyon as a big old tribe?
It's like a homeschool field trip.
This feels right. This feels right. Hopefully Jared can get the time sorted out. Oh man, are y'all coming down by way of by Yellowstone and Jackson Hole and stuff like that, where you could see the little Grand Canyon that's in Yellowstone and then go down to Arizona and see the big Grand Canyon?
I do not know. We have not made our
Detailed
route
that
yet.
out.
We need to do that. Yeah. So we're gonna do all that. We did go to Yellowstone a few years ago. So it's a little over 3 years ago. So we went to Montana and had that whole trip and everything.
Yeah.
So it's fun times.
It's so gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
Wyoming is actually my favorite state.
It is. It's very different. I mean, because I think Oregon is beautiful, but you go there and it's like
Oregon is beautiful.
a whole different kind of beautiful. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Old Farm Show is here. Hello. And then Infinitely Blessed is here. Hello.
Hi.
Pacific Northwest Keto. Yeah, sure. But then there's Keto Gone.
Keto Gone.
I like that.
That one's gonna work. And oh my word, you could go with like a Keto Gone kind of sounds like a shape. So you could kind of like somehow work a shape around it.
Yes. So like some shape.
It's a polygon, but it's a Keto Gone.
In it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. This is like the board game all over again, but we're in a different direction.
Now we're planning conferences.
I mean, we do it all here.
We really do.
Theory.
we have ideas for all.
For every opportunity available. Today we were working on probability and chances and stuff like that with Caitlin. And there was a question about like, why are theoretical outcomes different than actual results? And I feel like that's what we are good at. We are great at the theoretical outcomes. So we're planning board games. We're making all of these plans for conferences that probably will not come out. So the actual results are still to be determined.
But it's fun. We have fun. And that's worth something.
That's right. That's right. Some people are executors. Some people are ideators. And we're the ideators.
Yeah. Sting It says, went for my A1C this morning. Lipedema has changed my entire trajectory. Oh man. Good to be soothed by this community. That is,
oh yeah.
I'm glad that we can be here for you and hope that the A1C comes back well. Good. Low carb.
We hope that it comes back. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, oops. Did it twice.
You repeated that one.
Is asking what's in the cups. What you got, Lindsay?
Okay. Today I did something. I got a little outside of my standard. I do have decaf coffee in here, but I added a splash of cream.
What? Wow.
I know, it was like crazy pants in here. But then I also have another cup and it's just got some the zesty orange salty.
Oh, I like the zesty orange salty. That's one of, I think
that
zesty
one and mango.
Berry. Mango?
Oh, mango for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the mango too. I don't like the citrus. I tried to like it and I was like, I don't think I like it.
I tell you what, I found the way that I prefer the citrus because I mean, like whenever you get the multi-pack or the variety pack, there's citrus in there and you don't really want those to go to waste. Because I agree, citrus kind of comes in at the bottom of my list too. It's not the first one I'll grab for at all. But doing it hot, like if you've got a little bit of a tender throat or a little bit of a tickle in your throat, doing it hot kind of reminds me of those Theraflu packets that they used to sell, but they don't sell anymore. And it just kind of is really soothing to the throat. So I will use them like that. When I had my sickness, was it 2 months ago? I feel like it was 2 months ago at this point. Time is so weird. But Jared, he kept bringing me the citrus ones whenever I was struggling. And I was like, warm. This isn't so bad. I can do this warm. But I know people like citrus. It's just not my jam. Booyah berry is also kind of low on my list. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, well, it's funny because so I don't care for the salty citrus, but I love the element citrus. And then I don't like the watermelon element, but I do like the watermelon salty. So I don't know what they're doing different.
Watermelon salty is the business right there.
Okay. But I don't like the element one. I think the flavor is way too strong. Yeah.
Okay.
But then I love the salty one. So
yeah.
Weird.
That is pretty bizarre.
Yeah. Oh, anyways, I didn't say what was in my cup.
Oh, you
It's
didn't. I'm so sorry.
decaf coffee with a splash of cream. Same. Yeah, I went back to the decaf. I was doing a little caffeine here and there, and then still trying to work on that heart rate thing to get it down. And I was like, you know what? If cutting out caffeine will help, I'll do that. So I don't know. I
Right.
don't know or
Yeah.
not.
You know what? I think I'm gonna take a moment and see what my current beats per minute is right now. See how that's going.
Okay,
Because
what
I
is it?
tend to be I tend to be pretty low. I mean, not like low, but I tend to be lower than the typical. I'm just at 78 and
I am at 104. Yeah, I know. It's weird. So today, so I look at my resting heart rate because the Fitbit gives you a resting heart rate for the day before.
Yeah.
And so yesterday it was 89, which is the first time it's been in the 80s for over 2 weeks. So it was in the 90s before. So I'm hoping I'm on the way down, but yeah, so crazy. Thank y'all.
It's just so hard. Like you do all the things, and I find it. Uh, I mean, like I'm just an outside perspective looking in on the things that you do share, and it's one of those things where it's just like It's like whenever you're watching a movie and you want the protagonist to just like just win. Overcome the mountain. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, no, don't look in that cave. Don't do
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, it was so frustrating.
nobody is
What?
more invested than you are. And here I am getting like, no, oh, is it gonna happen? Oh, it has to happen this time. This time is it. But
I
wait, we
know.
still have years to go on this particular movie.
Yeah, I was looking at there on the Fitbit, they have some different metrics and stuff, and there was one like cardio health or cardio something or other, and I was like, poor to fair. I was like, I have been working out. I have been eating healthy. It was
Okay,
so sad.
devil's advocate here. What happens if you eat unhealthy for like 6
There you
months?
go. I mean, I haven't tried
And
that. No,
that's what I'm
actually,
here for.
Jonathan Shane is going to fix me right up because we have our first coaching session this afternoon, and I'm
Yay!
confident that he is going to fix me.
He's going to do it.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
the knowledge and the
Yeah,
experience and the
yeah, well,
excitement.
I was just thinking this morning how sick I am of thinking about how I feel.
Oh,
Because I'm just like
yeah.
because like, when you're well and healthy, you don't think about it. You just
Yeah.
live your life, and, like, I'm just so sick of, like, thinking, "Oh, how I'm feeling today," and I'm just like, "I need to not think about it." Like, I need to just get my mind on something else? So, that's where I'm at
Yeah. Yeah.
with that. So, I'm letting
I feel
Jonathan
that.
do all the thinking for me, and I'm just
Yep.
gonna
Yep.
not think and just do what he says.
It sounds like you have developed a fantastic delegation system here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what you've really done. You're an excellent manager. Just wanted to
Yeah,
say.
there you go. Uh, Lori says hers is 67, just sitting there. Well, I'm jealous. I haven't seen my heart rate in the 60s ever. I mean, not that I paid attention to it before. Since I've started paying attention, I have not. I've seen it get down to the
Well, and then
70s a couple of times, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I get excited.
and I think that also kind of brings up the whole like if we didn't know the metrics, would we be so concerned?
Sure, yeah. Well, and then how does knowing the metrics affect the metrics? Because it's like, I'm like, "Oh, dang it, my heart rate's high," and then it, like, makes me upset.
Right.
I
Or
did,
if you
I changed my watch face so that the heart rate thing wasn't on the front of it because I just, I was looking at it
smart.
too much. And so I was like, I need to, cut that out. And so, not think about it as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Hayden says, how much do you recommend the salt, like the salty electrolytes? I have a hard time justifying paying the cost of those. Totally get that. What do you
For
think?
sure. It's not cheap, to be honest. I mean, it's not the most expensive supplement that you can buy, but it is not cheap. And I will say that going out and finding all of the individual ingredients for yourself, you can definitely do that, and you would pay a much smaller cost.
Yeah.
Where you pay for having the ingredients in bulk and then mixing up your own electrolytes every time is with your time. So it's one of those
Yeah.
things where if you have more minutes or an hour every week or so to be able to mix up a bunch of electrolytes and stay on top of that, and you don't need them to be able to be travel friendly, that's going to be your most cost effective way. Like if your time to dollars proportion is, skewing towards time availability. Whereas if you are short on time and you are willing to invest in them, they, make it a lot easier. I like having them in my bag. My kids enjoy them whenever we're on the road. Um, and also, I would say that those convenience items, while they are more expensive, having some as like designated. So whenever I travel, I use these things. And whenever I'm at home, I DIY it. That kind of a
Mhm.
mentality can kind of help you sort of not justify the cost, but mitigate a little bit of that cost. I really like them a lot, and we drink
Mhm.
them like daily. My husband and I. And so for us, it's a thing. We also don't have to spend money on prescription medications at this point in our lives. We don't have to
Yeah.
invest in other types of things. And I feel like electrolytes are one of those supplements where they do make a significant impact to the way that you feel on a regular basis. Whereas if you are just consistently taking, a vitamin C and a zinc and a vitamin D3 and K2, like you don't really notice those as much because your body can store certain ones of those, not the C, but it can store the D and the K2 and use it as it needs it. Whereas your body kind of needs that replenishment of those electrolytes on the daily.
Yeah.
Um, do you have
Yeah. Well,
better ways to say what I said? Because I don't think I
no,
said it
I
well.
think that was great. I think it comes down to how it makes you feel. So to know if it's worth it for you, you'd have to know how you feel. Because for some people, they don't need to supplement electrolytes. Like it's all about
Sure.
balance within your own body. And so, you may not need them. You may not need as much as the next person. And, and like Lindsay said, you can make them yourself. And actually, Element has a recipe on their website to make your own DIY because they do recognize that not everyone can afford it. And so I appreciate that they offer that. I did a
Mhm.
video, it was a few years ago, it was before I even used Element, talking about electrolytes and giving a recipe and then why I still purchase it. So I have a whole video on that. Um, so the option is there to make your own. For me,
Mhm.
before I was, being sponsored by Element and, getting these things sent to me, I wanted to do electrolytes and I found a recipe and I made it and
Mhm.
I did it for maybe like a day and then I was like, I can't do this. And that's a failing on my part. I mean, I'm being honest here. It was just like it tasted terrible and I was like, I'm sure this is good for my body, but I can't do this. And
This
it
is
wasn't
not the path
until
for me.
it wasn't until I started trying the flavored ones that I actually used it long enough to see the effect it had. And I had a great effect. Like the biggest thing for me is that I wasn't getting up to go to the bathroom all night anymore. Like it helped my
Mm.
kidneys function better. And I
Mhm.
mean that's huge. And so that uh, I get a lot better sleep now, like sleeping all the way through, which that's, all kinds of health benefits there. So it's like there's so many benefits to me and the ease of taking it, when it tastes good, like looking forward to it, that is a benefit to me.
Yeah.
And I think it does help me drink more water. Like if I was just drinking plain water, I wouldn't drink as much. Again, that's a failing on my part. I should be a better person. Uh, but for all those
We're
reasons,
all on the process of getting sanctified. It's fine.
So for all those reasons, it's worth it to me, but I completely recognize that if our finances were in a different place, that would be, one of the first things to go. And I would for sure be mixing up. Now that I know how good I feel, I think I probably would be a little more consistent with doing the DIY version than I was at the beginning. But because finances are the way they are, and because Element sponsors my videos and stuff like that, I'm sticking with the flavored, but totally understand that if
Mhm.
it's not in the budget.
Yeah. And there's tons of things, salting your food really well, using the potassium instead of or what is it, the Morton's no salt? Is that what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
called?
There's new
Adding
salt.
that to your
Yeah.
food, new salt, something like that. Yeah. So there's a whole variety of ways that you can consume them. It's just what is going to be effective for your chemistry. And
Mhm.
then also, what can you implement in your daily life to ensure that you get what your body specifically needs? So I'm with you on the whole, it would be right up my alley to just constantly DIY the ever living out of these electrolytes and have my half
Mhm.
gallon jar in the fridge, just shake, shake, and pour out a glass. But also, if I'm going to go through all that trouble, I'm going to put all the effort in up front and then I'm going to forget about it. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh my gosh. I've done that so many times.
I
You
mean,
get
there was a
excited about
period.
something.
Oh gosh. There was a period in time whenever I thought, I need to have more vitamin C in my life. This had to have been, 12 years ago. And
Mhm.
I was like, I know what I'll do. It's less expensive to buy the C powder and then encapsulate it for myself. So I'll go get the little gel caps and I'll fill them for myself and do it that way.
Yeah.
It did not
You
cost
don't have
me
anything
a
better to
lot
do.
of dollars. No, no, I was only cloth diapering a child who was still nursing and trying to live life. But it's like it
Mhm.
didn't cost me a ton of actual money dollars. It
Mhm.
cost me stress by and effort and just like feeling like I was a failure because I wasted all of that time and energy on trying to do it myself when I was like, this is really dumb.
Yeah.
This is whenever you ask what's dumb, that was the dumb thing. There it
Yep.
was, glaring at
Yep.
me.
It's okay to delegate. Sometimes you delegate
It
to the
is
supplement company to fill your capsules for you.
That's right. Or say, well, I'm just gonna eat liver instead. Because
Yeah.
liver solves everything.
Well, sure. Yeah, it does. If we
All
were
right,
just better
Lori said,
people, we'd be eating more liver.
I know. I actually thought about dehydrating the liver and then putting that into capsules at one
Yeah.
point, and then I was
Yeah.
like, this is also a waste of time.
Yeah.
My husband thinks that I do a lot of things that are, in fact, like there's a simpler way to execute this that you could be more consistent with. And I'm like, right, but
Yeah.
I need to actually
He's a wise
try
man.
it a few times and really beat myself up first before I can get onto that bandwagon.
You have
I
to
just,
know that it's worth it to just buy the thing.
I'm me.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to prove to
So,
yourself that you should just buy the thing.
yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, how will I know? How will I know? So Lori, she said she's tried all of them out there, the flavored electrolytes, and she must say that the salty are really the best tasting ones out there. I have to agree that I personally really do love the salty flavors. I also really did like all of the element flavors, to be honest. Like their chili mango or mango chili one. I love
Mhm,
that heat. I love to get punched in the
mhm,
mouth, but
mhm.
also there are so many out there. I know Perfect Keto's black cherry. That was one that I was on a kick with for a long time. Like a
Yeah,
little bit of
Levi
black
loves that
cherry,
one.
a splash of lime juice and some fizzy water, and all of a sudden you've got yourself
Mhm.
a fantastic drink. Like it
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. So when Salty came out, I was having this, internal struggle, like, am I gonna love this more than Element? Because I'm sponsored by Element, like, and I have
Right.
to be honest, like, I'm not gonna just, lie to you guys and be like, "Oh, I love Element," when I like something else better. I genuinely like the Element flavors, like, overall, better. Like, I like the punch in your
Hmm.
mouth citric acid thing that Element does.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
can be honest in my little spots and stuff and say, "This is my
Yeah.
favorite," like, because I genuinely do like the flavors the best. I like salty too. I enjoy there's, certain flavors that I really like. But if I,
Hmm.
God forbid, I'd have to pick just one, electrolyte, I'd probably still pick Element. There you go.
Jared actually really likes the flavors of salty. He prefers Element. And
Okay.
it's funny because I'm the opposite.
Yeah. See, and then everyone has a
And
different
that's
preference, and that is
okay.
okay. We don't have to fight.
Exactly. Also, that means that the ones that I like, I get all to me. And the
Yeah,
ones that he
exactly.
likes, he gets all to himself. So there's not any squabbles over who gets what, when, where, why. Did you take the
Yeah,
last one? No, I did not.
yeah.
That's all
Yeah,
you, pumpkin.
Jeff thinks that all of the electrolytes taste the same. Like all the flavors, all the brands, they all taste the same. I don't understand that. But then I'm like, okay, fine. Then you drink the watermelon and you drink the ones I don't want. I mean, if they
That
all
or
taste
else
the
you're just
same, it's
like, oh,
not.
really? Oh, really? How about some raw? That's what you get.
There you go. So,
Get the clean slate. That's all for you,
oh,
buddy.
yeah, no kidding. No, I don't think he meant that. I think he meant the flavored ones. Okay, so Hayden says, I just checked and couldn't find my pulse. I might be dead. That is quite concerning. You should probably go see a doctor.
But also the fact that you were able to type that verifies it. You're gone.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, well, so a couple weeks ago when I was having more issues with, like my racing heart and just pounding, it's like it was always that's calmed down, so I'm thankful for that. But like I was
Yeah.
watching a live stream of a church service, and the guy gets up to start the like worship section. He's like, be thankful that you're breathing and that your heart is beating. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll be thankful. At least I'm not dead.
I'll be thankful until about the 8th measure of this song. And then I'm going to go back to like praying that my heart doesn't literally beat up out of my chest and
Yeah.
come out of my face.
Yeah, but
That's what I'll be
it made me
thankful.
laugh. It was, one of those moments I was like, "Yep, okay, well, at least
That's
let's
it.
focus on the things that we can be thankful for." Uh,
Good stuff.
oh, Lori says can relate, I think, to my issues, trying to deal with my issues. I just had my gallbladder out and thought everything would be great, but there are still issues. Yeah, that's hard. Because this is, how I, at the beginning, when I first found out about my iron issues and I got all signed up for my iron infusion and I was like, it's going to be better. And then it was better. And then it got, worse again. And it's just like, oh, it's so hard. And part of me is like, what if I didn't even do that? Like, would I overall be in a better place? I don't know. That's frustrating. It's
Kind of
hard.
like getting a CGM and then finding out like, oh, this particular slightly higher carb food doesn't impact my glucose in a way that makes me scared. I'll just go ahead and keep having more of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, other things have been affected.
Yes, yes, I have been there. So Dustin says, "What if an elevated heart rate is normal for you, like where you should be?" So that
Well,
is
you're
a good
not
point, and
seven.
there is variation from person to person. But on my graph from Fitbit over the last like 3 months, it was down at like in the 70s, and then it just went way up high. So it's not normal for me. Like going back and looking
Yeah,
at all my data, I've been in the 70s and low 80s forever, and then it just jumped up, got up as high as 97. And so I just knew that's not my normal. So, but it is
for
true that
sure.
there are, different people have different normals, and so that's an important thing to know your normal so that you can be aware when something changes, because that can be
Hmm.
a clue that there's something going on. And I'm still pretty certain that it's the iron deficiency that is the driver behind this. And as I get that figured out, I think that my heart rate will, settle down. So
Find its
still
comfort
hopeful for
zone
that. And it has started to come down. So I'm thankful. I'm just hoping it continues.
for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Sophia says heart rate laying down versus sitting versus talking are good to monitor. Also, heart rate variability. Yes, that's another one.
Hmm.
Um, but I know more self-focused. Can't wait to hear about your session with Jonathan. Yeah, so we're having that this afternoon, and I'm recording it, and I will be releasing it. I'm not sure when, but probably within a few days. So that'll be fun.
When
I'm
it's
excited.
time.
Exactly. So all of a sudden your video is better. Everything.
Yay!
Right, 15 minutes to go. Let's see.
We like it.
Okay, so Hayden says, "I have no money and lots of time, so I might go ahead and try to make my own." Yeah, that is
And that's a
absolutely
great
the time
option.
where yeah, I love it.
Yes.
Risa
Well, and yeah,
says
just knowing your whatever's gonna work well for you and
yeah,
trying it out
your
and saying,
situation.
"Okay, well, that's one way to not make a light bulb, so let's keep trying."
Yeah. Yeah, and I've certainly been in that situation where I've DIY'd way more than, I do now. So it's like there's different seasons of life, and that is totally fine.
Oh,
Risa
for
says,
sure.
"Love certain flavors of salty and element, find it worth it to me." Yep. There you go.
Yeah. It's kinda like my pre-keto chow days. I would pull out, probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 different ingredients that I would mix together to make like a protein shake if I wanted to
Mhm.
have a protein shake, or mess around with, different flavors and make pudding or whatever the case was. And then after keto chow, I was like, oh, wow, this is so much simpler.
Yeah.
Look at all the things I don't have to put away now. And I'm actually getting
Yes.
the vitamins that I wasn't getting from me just like trying to concoct the things. It still worked and everything, and it was fun for a time, but then it was like, okay, now that we've done the thing, I'm tired and
Yeah.
don't want to put away all
Yeah.
of these ingredients every time.
Totally. Yep. Um, Jackie says, "I think I heard Chris Cooking Nashville say that the new salty makes him feel better than element, and I'm curious how that plays out for him and others." Yeah, and it's all about balance. So some people
Mhm.
need more sodium, some people need more potassium, some people need, whatever. I still take a
Right.
magnesium supplement. The magnesium in the element, that's not quite enough for me, and so I take a magnesium supplement also, and that seems to be good balance for me. Um, but everybody's different. It's all about balance. It's not about a specific number of the supplements.
That's right.
Let's see. I watched and followed Neely's electrolyte powder mix, though now I use a modified element mix. I mix magnesium malate and magnesium glycinate. I have to have it flavored. Yeah, I have a hard time with the salt water. That's hard.
Do you remember when Soleil water was all the rage and
Oh,
people would just dump like handfuls of pink salt into a jug of water or into a mason jar of water? And all it
yeah,
takes is just a couple tablespoons if you don't puke after you drink it.
yeah. That's not fun. And yeah, I
I
didn't get
mean,
into that. I was like, I can't do it.
I would just watch people do it and think, huh, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. I just really like food salty, and I think I'm gonna hang out with salty food.
Yeah, salty food is fun. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Salty food is
Um,
great.
although I am not a saltaholic like my husband is
Oh,
and like my kids are. I I I things can be too salty for me. They don't seem like they can be ever too
yeah,
salty for my husband. And like when I was a
sure.
kid and you get the big Bavarian pretzels, I would like pick off the pieces of
Like the
salt. I
soft
didn't
oh,
want it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe I'm weird.
interesting. When we would travel, or when we were traveling in the past, I always had like my little real salt keychain with me, and I remember distinctly we were kind of like driving from one town to another town, and it was quite a distance, and I was like rumbly in my tumbly kind of a situation, and so I just sat there and I just kept salting my tongue, like, okay, let's just make it through. And Jared, he didn't scoff at me, but kind of like laughed at me about it all. And I'm like, listen, I'm just doing whatever I can. I am just starving.
Let's see. Oh, Jackie says, "My commitment to myself is that I have to use up the magnesium powders I paid for before I'm allowed to try another convenience electrolyte product." That's good self-control there.
Well, and it's a good way to verify, like guarantee that you're gonna finish something that you've already sunk money into. Because it's like,
Yeah,
what's, my reward for actually consuming all of the thing that I purposed to consume? Hopefully not in abundant quantities so it happens faster, because that might create issues that
right.
ill prepared for, but also
Okay,
use what you
Singing
got till it's gone.
right. Singing says, I really wondered about the struggle for you with Element and Salty. Yeah. So I love Element. I'm a huge, fan of their work. I've followed Rob Wolf, the creator of Element, since like paleo days, like 15 years. I love him and his work. I think it's a completely solid product and I use it. I literally use it every single day and I love it. Um, I also love the Bears. Like they're amazing people and getting to meet them in person was so exciting and fun. They're the sweetest. And then get to go to Utah and go to the meetup. Yeah. That's going to be amazing and fun. Anyways, so I love them. I love their work. I think they make quality stuff, and obviously Chris puts a lot of work into the science and getting it as perfect as he can get it. And so I also think that that is a quality product. I also think Redmond Relight is a quality product. Like that's the electrolyte I started with. And I think it's a great product. I used the Perfect Keto one too. Like they're all good and they are all different. And so like when Element says they use a science-backed ratio, like they did. They looked at the science and they made a ratio. But science is not just like one thing. It's like there's all kinds of different
it's a spectrum.
Yeah, there's also these studies, and so different people can look at the science and come out with a different thing. Like that's just reality. And so each company did that and they created their product, and we as consumers get to try them and decide which one we like the best, and that's fine.
And that's the beauty of the free market.
And they don't have to, we don't have to fight about it. Like I think they both used science to create their product.
It's science.
Science. Yep.
Well, and not only that, but I don't hear anybody disparaging anybody else. There is one company out there that I watch disparaging others. This Alt, A-L-T. Have you seen them?
I may have.
They disparage they disparage specifically Element. Now the whole maltodextrin binding the natural flavors things like that is an issue, and you have to sift through the information for yourself and decide, is this acceptable? Is this unacceptable? And then move forward based on your own personal convictions based on the information that is available. But like this alt company, I was like, what's happening here? Why are you intentionally disparaging somebody else? Like that's a way to go. I mean, it is a marketing tactic, but I do appreciate very much the fact that the Bears, they created their own product, but they don't disparage Relight. They don't disparage the Element. They don't disparage, any of these other marketed electrolyte powders. And so, I mean, I have a level of respect for them that I don't necessarily have for this other company that is actively choosing to disparage somebody else. So
right. Yeah. And I've never seen Element do that. I've never seen Redmond Relight do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They're focused on what they're doing. And whenever you sit there and focus on what somebody else is doing, it kind of makes me wonder, like, okay, is the product actually better, or you're afraid that it's not better, so you want to make sure that you like put it in people's brains like, oh, it's not, it is better, but it's
Well, and then the reality is there are companies out there, they're not trying to make the best product possible. They're trying to make the most money possible. There are plenty of companies out there. So, someone pointing out that this product is made with, not as bioavailable vitamins, I think that's fine. But, the companies that we've talked about, Redmond, Element, Salty, they're all, they have a very high standard. They have integrity, and there's no need to, disparage each other.
Yeah.
Because they're not just trying to make a buck. They're trying to give a good product to the market. And that's good. Okay. So Hayden says, with you mentioning the punch in your mouth citrus taste made me think I need to go find a low carb sour candy recipe. Yes. Citric acid.
I was going to actually say, should I go snag mine out of the pantry real quick?
Yeah.
Be like, this is what you need.
If you want sour. And I wonder, like, adding a little bit of citric acid to salty or something, if that would, you know,
punch you in the
bump
face
up.
a little harder.
Yeah, yeah, it could.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and so I have a electrolyte gummy recipe. I think it was with the Perfect Keto
Okay.
electrolytes from way back when. But if you search electrolyte gummy indigo Nili, you should find it on YouTube. Ooh, Singet's gonna make some chicken livers with my breading recipe. That would be delicious. That's,
Fantastic plan.
you're gonna eat chicken livers, you should bread it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So Hayden is asking about the iron deficiency. Is there a reason for it? So I'm working on that.
Just to stress Nili out. That's why.
So
thorn in her side.
I do have plenty of iron in my diet, which is why this was so, surprising and like confounding. So I'm trying to figure it out, and I have not. I thought it was gut related, so I went through a bunch of like SIBO killing protocols, and that really helped my gut, but it didn't cause my iron deficiency to go away. So I'm still working on it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can cause iron deficiency, low stomach acid, all kinds of things. And so I'm just kind of exploring all of that. And as soon as I figure it out, I will let everyone know. I'm hopeful that I will figure it out one day.
It's really there to keep people watching, so that way your channel can continue to earn monies so that your children have food to
that's
eat.
my plan. Yeah, actually, I'm perfectly fine. Everything's good. I'm just stringing everybody along to get the views.
We're a mess, y'all. Diabolical.
Okay. And it's working. Does anyone add flavorings to the clean slate salty? Does it work well? I am not really keen on drinking salt water.
Okay, so clean slate, any of the unflavored electrolyte packets, my personal way of using them is to put it into a mug of hot water, add like about a quarter to a half teaspoon of cocoa powder that you like, and then maybe a drop or two. I like monk fruit, stevia, or if you're a sucralose person, you could add sucralose. So just a couple drops of whatever your preferred pure liquid sweetener is, and whiz that together, and it becomes a hot chocolate, just as if it were the Coco Loco or the Caramel Vibes or what have you. So that is my personal preferred way to use those. But I also tend to prefer a lot of warm beverages over cold beverages. So
yeah. Sing It says, I can no longer drink coffee or hot chocolate without salt now. I am the same way. I'll put unflavored electrolytes into my coffee, and then into hot chocolate. Like I have to put some kind of electrolyte. It's usually the chocolate element. But like because I did a video a while back where I was trying the hot chocolate collagen from Marigold Foods.
Marigold.
I just mixed it up with a little sweetener. No, it already had sweetener with a little cream.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just not right. But I'm sure it was just fine hot chocolate. It was just that I'm so used to having that punch in the face with the salt.
Yeah. Well, and there's, all of the research about what is that book that was written? It was salt, fat, and sugar, salt, fat, something like that. Basically talking about how, the food industry goes about their processes to make sure food is as highly palatable as possible. And that salt has the same kind of effect on us that sweet tastes have.
Oh yeah.
So like if you are actually craving salt, but you have something sweet, you feel like you've, got that craving satisfied somehow. But you actually don't. So like if you're craving sweets, you can actually take something that's got salt in it, and it will help to quiet down that craving and give your body something that it requires. And I'm sure all seen on the Pinterest, whenever it tells you, oh, if you're craving chocolate, what you need is magnesium, or, all of those super fun, very accurate infographics. Those never steer you wrong. Always follow the infographic.
Magnesium doesn't taste as good as chocolate.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Uh,
And if I'm gonna get the magnesium in the chocolate, then I'm happy to consume it that way. Just saying.
yeah, right. Okay, let's see where we go here. Jackie said, I have to make our base electrolyte blend without salt because it's too salty for her husband. I add salt separately to my electrolyte beverages. Interesting.
And that's one of the beauties of having a homemade version is that you can really tailor it to those who are consuming it.
Yeah,
Just like you don't have to
absolutely.
use an entire packet of salty or element or an entire scoop of Redmond. You can really mix and match and adjust as you see fit and just feel like you're a mad scientist in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
more fun if you have the
Olive oil and salt in coffee. So Starbucks just came out with some olive oil drinks.
Really?
And I've heard mixed reviews on those. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could do olive oil in coffee. Olive oil, it has such a strong taste.
Yeah, and I would be concerned about like, is it being cut with like vegetable oils?
Sure, yeah, that's always a concern with olive oil, but
I mean, I guess, there's something for everybody. And if you're really trying to avoid some sort of an animal product, you'll look to anything to avoid the animal product. We should just normalize putting tallow in coffee. Let's do that.
It doesn't sound very good. Why doesn't it sound very good? Because it's good in keto chow.
Right. But there are other flavors there,
That's true. I mean, why do we have to go with the cow fat when we can have the cream that is also cow fat?
This feels like a very valid question.
Come
Plus,
on.
if you just go with the cream, the cow just keeps making more.
Exactly.
There's a finite volume
kill the
of
cow
tallow.
to get it.
Let's save the tallow for the other things.
Yeah. Okay. She thought it was weird until she tried it. Not for me. I'll stick to my tea with milk. Yes, I won't give up lactose. Give up my lactose-free milk in my tea. Yeah. Hey, if that's the worst you do, you're doing pretty good. Siget says, I love how Chris nerds out for the cause. Yep.
Always for the cause. It's for the cause, dear.
He puts a lot of effort into it.
I wonder how Miriam feels about him always like just going whole hog into the cause all the time. Does it kind of like interfere with their family time ever, do you think? Whenever he's like chasing a thought down a rabbit trail, like,
I feel like
where's the end?
I feel like he's like that about everything, including his family. So he puts everything into his family also.
I mean, yeah, that would add up. That shakes out. We will test this hypothesis in May. I said March. Almost.
In May, yes. 100% with you on the salt in my coffee. Dutch Bros and Starbucks baristas look at me very funny when I ask if they have any salt. Nice. Now I carry the light salt in the car with me. Yeah. I have not started adding it like when I go to Starbucks, but I should. Why have I not? Because I carry around the little Redmond salt shaker.
That or else you should ask the baristas and just keep Portland weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, come on.
I mean,
is this really the weirdest thing you've seen today?
It's on the bumper stickers. You kind of like gotta do it for the community.
Yeah. Ooh, Penny says, has anyone tried tallow in a keto chow creamy?
I have not, but I am 98% positive that the keto chows have, and I'm sure that Rachel and Joe at the Two Crazy Ketos have probably done that too. Jared really prefers like heavy whipping cream as the fat source in the creamy. He does not love the texture on the butter whenever it the roof of the mouth. So for him, it's always the heavy whipping cream.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In fact, when we did the strawberry cream keto chow, whenever they re-released it, and I did it with heavy whipping cream, Jared was just like, this is amazing. It's like real.
Yeah, I've been making my creamies with butter, and I think I want to go back to heavy cream for the creamies. I make it more, I think more ice creamy.
For sure. for sure.
I'm gonna have to try it again because it's been a while.
But
since
also,
I've
I kind of want to do the tallow thing just to see if it has a similar effect, like a similar mouthfeel as the heavy cream or the butter. Like, where are we landing here?
Yeah, and if it still tastes like chocolate donuts.
Oh my goodness. Whenever Lynette told us, like, this tastes like the frosting off of a chocolate donut, I was like, okay. And then I tried it and I was like, shut the front door. That is amazing.
Yeah.
What?
Tiffany is laughing at us. Our faces with the olive oil coffee comment. Yeah. I don't know about this.
I don't want to yuck somebody's yum, but wow.
All right. Well, we have already been on for over an hour.
Oh, my stars. We
should hop off. We will be back next week. Same time,
we will.
Place. Oh, Lindsay, do you want to end the stream?
I don't know, but Jackie said, wait.
Okay,
all right. I don't know why. Waiting. Jackie, we will give you 30 seconds. Go. Can we all just sit here just staring at her? Lindsay, what is the chocolate frosting recipe? Oh, come back. I just clicked show.
I clicked it at the same time.
We've got to work this out. I mean, we got to be all in this together. We're going to break out into High School Musical. So Keto Chow Core, their beef protein line. If you take Keto Chow Core in the chocolate flavor and you use beef tallow for fat in that Keto Chow along with your water and all the things, and you let that set overnight or 30 minutes or however long you're willing to wait for it, it tastes like chocolate frosting off of a donut. It is banana sandwich. How similar. Like, I brought back all of the memories from working at a donut shop in college. It was phenomenal. Now, if you wanted to turn it into frosting, you're going to turn it into tallow frosting. You're going to mix, a few tablespoons or a whole packet if you want to into probably about 4 tablespoons of some tallow, maybe a little bit more, depending on how strong you want the flavor, and whip that together and it will become frosting.
I need to try that.
Oh my word.
That would be delicious.
My word.
Wow.
And then if you make some like keto crackers, like graham cracker style, smear it on top.
Wow.
Your life will be complete. All right.
All right. Well, now we know what we're all doing after this.
That's right. Oh, hiding it. We're hiding it. We're going to see y'all next week.
Do you want to end the stream, Lindsay?
I do want to end. I do.
You have the power.
I got the power. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.